Welcome to Pimpy's Investment Chat, where we keep investment talk simple. And here's your host, Pimpy.
What is going on out there, peeps? All right, I know how you guys emphasize boots on the ground in Iraq. So let's go ahead and hear what the boots on the ground in Iraq have to say. This is Upton. He flew to Iraq. Let's listen to the Iraqi people talk about the current events that are happening in Iraq. Before we get started, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button. If you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel, and I certainly do appreciate it. If you're thinking about buying gold and silver, head on over to our friends at Miles Franklin. The link will be down below in the description. When you make your purchase, make sure you use promo code Pimpy, P-I-M-P-Y, and they'll take care of you. If you have any additional questions, you can reach us over here at this phone number or over here at this particular email. For all orders over $10,000, reach out by email and we'll make sure that you get a great deal. So come on over to Miles Franklin and add to your precious metal inventory. Before we get into this, a lot of people have asked me about how it was I got involved with investing into stock over there in Iraq. This is something I did, good Lord, probably a few years ago. I've been with the same group ever since. It was closed off to the public. They had their amount of people that they wanted to put into the group, or I should say allow into the group, to invest in stocks over there in Iraq. Well, I just recently heard they have opened up opportunities for new people to invest in Iraq. So if you're interested in investing in the stocks in Iraq, this is your time to join. I'll leave this link right here so you guys can come in here and sign up to join, and you too could be invested into the stocks of Iraq. This is the Wise Group, very user-friendly. They will walk you through the process. So this is your opportunity to not just invest in the dinar, but invest into the stocks over in Iraq. Think about this. If you really believe that Iraq is going to be booming and has a booming economy getting ready to take off, this will be your chance to join in before it really takes off. If you have any questions, you can call them. Right here's the number, 1-850-520-2693. Let them know you're interested in investing in Iraqi stock, and they will walk you through the process. Let them know that Pimpy sent you. All right, I want to give a shout out to Alfred. I appreciate this post. He said, I'm not throwing shade at Nader, Frank, or any other guru that are in Iraq or has boots on the ground. This is what I really want to see when it comes to this investment. Not the crap, it's going to happen any day now. Keep up the good fight, Pimpy. Like I said, I appreciate the good words. He comes down here and says, a lot of people are full of BS when it comes to the IQD. I watched one of the videos the other day where the guy claims the Iraq increased its gold reserves by over 3,000 tons in February of this year, and that Iraq's total gold reserves were 145,000 tons. Get a grip, people. He continues, just for a reference, the United States total gold reserves are just over 8,133 tons, but Iraq somehow has 145,000 tons? Anyways, Alfred goes on to say, I brought all of my dinar 20 years ago. I'm guessing he's saying I bought all my dinars 20 years ago when I was in Iraq. So I've seen a lot of gurus come and go. Hell, I was excited to hear Pimpy when he came on as a guest to Mr. Brownell's channel way back when. Man, that is way back when. Let's see here. So Mr. Brownell's, that's got to be early 2019. If I had $1 for every time some guru would say, it looks like it's going to happen this week, we see it in the back screens, I'd probably already be rich with those sayings. We would all be rich because of those sayings. Pimpy has been consistent when he always says stay grounded. Plus, not to mention free 99 specials. Oh yeah, that's funny. That's how you know somebody's been listening to me for a while. When they bring up free 99. That is funny for you to be mentioning that. So he will always get my respect. I can't say that for most of the others. In conclusion, after 20 years, I still have hope. So don't give up on Iraq. I tell people that they want what we want, to take care of their families and live a good life. And that's a great way to put it, Alfred. I appreciate the kind words. So we're going to get into the video that Alfred has posted. And you can see for yourself what is currently going on over in Iraq.
Iraq is often called the world's most dangerous country, but I'm flying to Baghdad to see if things are changing. See, it's been 20 years since the US invasion. And while the US State Department still says do not travel here due to terrorism, kidnapping, and armed conflict, NPR claims Baghdad is now relatively safe.
This is the best time from more than 25 years ago, the last 3 years in Iraq, especially in Baghdad.
I want to be close to the other countries. I want to let them know we are friendly, we are not terrorists.
A lot of companies came also to invest in Iraq.
And without an active war, stability is on the rise.
They were just normal human beings. We use phones and we have Google.
I'm a Friends fan and Big Bang Theory and those kind of series.
Investments are now pouring into this oil-rich country. I even discovered Iraq's first CrossFit gym.
In a space of 3 years, we've seen a massive jump in terms of businesses, the development of the cities. I'm not only talking about Baghdad, I'm talking about all cities.
International companies, they want to invest in Iraq.
A lot of people work in finance, and we have really good elites people who are graduated.
Walking around Baghdad now, there are a lot of places that just feel normal. People are going about their lives, they're buying their groceries, they're buying their books, they're meeting for coffee, they're having shawarma. It's actually hard to imagine that this city used to be such a dangerous place.
Its new generation is ambitious.
I'm not gonna be stuck at home and wait for Mr. Perfect to come to me.
Iraq, since it's have oil and other economic stuff, it can grow up financially. We will have a great future.
Next 10 years, we will have skyrockets, and we will have like a lot of big companies working.
We are full of hope. There is something coming up, and we are waiting for it.
I meet one girl who fled to Germany as a refugee, but
Listen, pay attention. This is the youth of Iraq. They're very, very hopeful. And I said this to you before. Even if they delete the zeros, that doesn't mean all is lost. If you really believe Iraq's currency is going to be the strongest in the world, if you believe they're going to have one of the best economies in the world, then just hold on to the currency. These are people who live over there in Iraq. They're telling you, for the next 20 years, Iraq is going to be booming. And I'm not talking about conflict. I'm talking about the economy.
Recently chose to come back to Iraq.
Suddenly, as I was contacting my sisters or my mom, they were driving cars in the street and they were going out of home and it was safer. Something changed and people could have freedom and could speak their mind freely.
Even tourism is starting up.
It's more than 30 or 32 years the tourism in Iraq was blocked.
Since 2021, Iraq has allowed for visa on arrival for many travelers, including Americans.
It's actually hard to imagine that this city used to be such a dangerous place.
Baghdad is a great place to visit, to take a tour here in Baghdad.
But can Iraq break through its decades-long cycle of war and violence to become an economic powerhouse of the Middle East? Or will its violent past haunt it for more decades to come? This is Iraq's first co-working space.
This is actually a place that was built for entrepreneurs here in Baghdad. It's a co-working space and a startup incubator.
Even the mindset of the people in the entrepreneurship sector has been growing in a really good way and a really deeper understanding. Back in 2018, it was more of a concept.
There is even an American room which is meant to foster a connection between young dynamic Iraqis and the United States. The area was funded by the US government. I also find this luxury outdoor dining area which is attached to a mall and it is blasting classical Italian music. All of this is a massive change to just a few years earlier. I meet a young girl who grew up to sounds of bombs.
Every week we heard 2 or 1. I was scared to go out till 18. My mother told us, no, you should go outside to see the world. It's okay, it's fine.
In 2003, the US-led invasion toppled Saddam Hussein's regime, but a significant fighting continued with insurgents. In 2008, President Bush agreed to withdraw US combat troops, and by the end of 2011, the last US troops departed Iraq, marking a formal end to the war. But that withdrawal didn't eliminate all the violence, because ISIS emerged as a major threat in Iraq and Syria in the following years.
When my mom grew up, she was not forced to wear hijab, but in the war, in the late war from 2003, the American war, this idea became too strong in Iraq.
Today, an increasing number of women are working again.
The population of Iraq will reach 50 million around 10 to
15 years now.
But its biggest challenge to becoming a thriving economy in the heart of the Middle East might not be missiles or guns or a resurgence of ISIS, but Iraq's currency.
People have money, but there is one problem here, that the dinar, it's not constant.
See, Iraq's currency has become unstable as the country has its official exchange rate to the US dollar, but also a black market rate which has widened. To reduce the gap, it recently banned using the US dollar for personal or business transactions. This was done out of a fear that its population would naturally prefer using dollar for its stability.
This inconsistency will make the market slow down.
Iraq's currency, the dinar, has been getting weaker compared to US dollars. There's a few reasons for this. The US is making it harder to get dollars into Iraq because it doesn't want them going into Iran, which it has sanctions on.
I'm worried more about the currency. We have been living a lot of political disasters.
People want dollars more because they trust them better, and there's even a black market for dollars, which makes the official rate even worse. This whole thing is causing prices to skyrocket, especially for imported stuff. The government's trying to fix things by cracking down on shady money transactions and flat out banning US dollar transactions.
If the dollar goes up, people tend to stop wanting to buy things, you know, like because of the uncertainty. When you create panic, everyone holds on to their money. It's obviously a little bit frustrating. Everything seems to be unknown.
What's now happening to the currency risks undermining Iraq's potential for stability and growth.
This kind of economics is pretty heavy on us, even for startups. We don't have budgets.
I meet multiple entrepreneurs who bring this up to me.
We only import stuff from outside, and all of it is with the American currency.
It's actually prompting a risky future right now because the dollar is like now rising. Iraq has not much of a power of producing essential products. It's all in dollar.
One possible hope is tourism in Iraq. Now, don't get me wrong, Baghdad will take time to rebrand its perception.
But even though tourism is now open, you're hardly going to see any tourists.
During my week here, I saw little to no tourists, but since the government has opened tourism and scrapped visa requirements, there might be some hope. I meet locals who started Iraqi Travelers Club. It's not actually a cafe, but a group of locals who are excited to meet foreigners who visit Baghdad.
We created a group on Facebook. The government started to create a new law which helped more than 36 countries from all over the world to get them a visa on arrival.
You've got the mountains and skiing, and then you come to mid, which is, you know, Baghdad, and then you go to the south where you got the marshes and the other bits that you can see. So, and obviously Babylon and Ur and all these places.
Something I find quite shocking during my time here is just how its young population has so much optimism. More than half of its population in Iraq is under the age of 25. Fatima is the girl who left Germany amidst the war who said,
Okay, that's really good because these are working age Iraqis. Countries that thrive, countries that end up going through a renaissance, having booming economies. A big chunk of that is the fact that most of their population is young and ready to work. And Iraq has more than 50% of its population is of working age.
Says she was approached at the time by an NGO.
She came back here in Iraq and she met us and she said, hey, you seem like very smart and very bright people, and I think you could have a better life if you just move to Germany.
But she says in those 5 years that she was away, things changed and she wanted to come back to be with her family and invest back in her own country. Before she had left Iraq, it had been an easy decision because of the situation in Baghdad.
They had to hire a private driver to take me to university and bring me back home because it was not safe and I wasn't being able to visit restaurants or meet up with friends outside like it was better at home. We didn't have too much openness for male-female friendship.
But when she got back, things had changed drastically. Another thing that surprises me while I'm here is most people don't seem to care where I'm from. You might think I'd get a strong reaction being Iranian and American, but young people here don't care. And this is for two reasons. The first is that they deeply understand that a person and the government of their country are two different things. And the second is, well, YouTube and the internet.
They were too traditional, holding on into the culture and into the boundaries that they were raised up on it. For us, I think we had internet, we had television, we could see the world in a different way. A lot of people just study in English, and our educational system in the universities is mainly in English, since I don't know when, but I studied in English mainly. In schools, it is more influenced right now because of the international schools that's coming here.
A generation that grows up on YouTube rather than, say, its country's local TV channels is going to be much more likely to want to be part of a thriving global society when they can see what is possible if people just like them in other countries. This is something I'm seeing firsthand.
My niece, she's 7 years old right now, and she speaks more English than Arabic because she's used to love and watch all the time Peppa Pig, and she grew up watching it.
The internet actually made the world smaller. Because of our interest in the community, we managed to follow this new generation.
But what is the future of Iraq? In 10 years, will it look more like Dubai, or will it still struggle to turn into a safe, stable, and thriving economy?
Baghdad will turn into a good trade center.
I believe in the future of Iraq. I've seen, like, my sisters were already graduating from college and they were finding jobs, and as I told you before that, this was not possible.
Everyone I meet here has a different vision of its future, but one thing they all share is they're all optimistic.
2035, there's a struggle between my mind and my heart. My heart says I would love to see Baghdad being the Baghdad that we always dreamt of.
But that's all. I don't want it to lose it. Why we are just going to develop or just going to rule? That is our concern as an architects.
We are people who always have smile on their face, who always want to be happy, who always laugh.
But with its currency, will that stop its ambitions?
We don't know what's happening next.
As an architect, I ask her why she never left or tried to leave Iraq.
If I will leave Iraq and my friends did, I would just gonna take the move with Iraq or with Baghdad to keep up level. So we cannot leave our home because of that we find it difficult here.